What's up out there again, everybody? It's the Olosopher, ready to give you some more Olosophy. And I'm pretty much about to explain to y'all why in public education, it costs money to have a solution versus making money when it's a problem. All right, now I can speak from experience because after my retirement from the NFL, I worked in education for 7 years. I worked in the school system for 7 years down here in Charlotte. And then, I was giving. I'm all about giving back to the community, giving back to the kids. And like I said, I'm gonna get to y'all about that in a minute. Was really constitutes giving back versus what you think is constitutes is giving back. What really giving back really means. And anyway. But a long story short, that was a transitional job. From football to life in the workforce. Now I'm in school full time. But I felt like okay, I owe it to the mores of my community, to the kids of my community. Give back, give them the knowledge, give them the game on success and things of that nature. Well, I noticed a couple things, and I work with a lot of sincere people in education, and I know I did a video some time back about answering a question about prisons versus education versus public education, privately owned prisons versus publicly education. And now I'm about to pretty much explain how it ties into each other and how it all works together. Well, you got to understand something. Solution doesn't make money for education. Solutions stop funding for public education. And let me tell you why. When you want to have a continued problem, it's just like, okay, if you look at the defense budget in America, if you look at what we spend on defense every year, when the defense spending is very, very low and you want to cut into that budget, like, okay, why are we spending so much money and we're not being attacked and things of that nature? All of a sudden, an attack happens. So now defense increased. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I learn to live and I live to learn. Think about this for a second. I'm not getting off key, but I'm trying to make a point. Before 9/11, look at defense spending. And I'm not, like I said, I ain't crying no conspiracy or nothing like that, but that begs the question. But anyway, look at defense spending before 9/11. Defense spending was very low. Now, since 9/11, defense spending has increased like crazy. Okay? Well, let me tell you how that ties into the school system. Anytime you have a solution, anytime something's working, then that means, okay, the federal government don't have to dump as much money. You're not getting as much state funding. They ain't got to dump as much money for programs. You ain't got to, create kind of all these jobs and stuff like that. Well, like I said, people in the higher parts of education not pocketing no money. All right. But when you have a continued problem, okay, now you can justify all this spending, you can justify all this funding and things of that nature. Which brings me to this. I'm not saying I was forced out of education, but I walked away. Okay, I gave for 7 years, but I'm still giving. I'm still spreading the knowledge. I'm still giving these young BGs the game from the OG. Okay, I'm still giving these kids the game out here, the game on life. But for a lot of people that I worked with in education and higher places, I was deemed a threat. And people like me were deemed a threat. Because here's the thing, in public education, especially in the Moor community and the black community, they try to eradicate the Moor male, alpha male. They try to eradicate the black alpha male out the public school system. Why? And not that I'm saying the sisters out there, the women out there is not a solution, but men, strong men represent solution. Okay? Because number one, we don't coddle. We give the kids the real. We give them from a man perspective because you got to understand when you have two parents in the household, it's like in the child's development, the mother is the nurturer. The mother is the one that's going to teach that kid how to love. That mother teaches that kid compassion. But the father, once the child reaches adolescent age, Then that's when the child needs to take more into to their father, because the father represents reality. The father embodies reality. The father gives you what he's been getting. Okay, so he's preparing you to life outside of the household. Okay, it's a 3-step process. You got the pillow, you got the wood, and you got the brick. Okay, and all 3 layers represent something. The pillow represents motherhood. Okay, she bring you into this world with love, with care, with compassion. She's loving you. She's caring for you. She's nurturing you. She's giving everything a motherly love can possibly give a child. Okay, and that also shows loyalty. That breeds loyalty into a child. That child begins to have a sense of loyalty to himself and to his fellow man. Okay, now the wood represents the fatherhood. Okay, fatherhood. Okay, this is what you're going to get. It may not be as hard as the brick, but I love you, but I ain't going to hit you as hard as the brick, but it's still going to have an impact on your life. Now that brick, the brick is reality. The brick is reality. Like, look, concrete, boom, you ain't breaking through it. It's going to hit you. It's going to hurt. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to show strength. You got to show solidarity in the breaking through this wall, breaking through this brick wall. Now, let me tell you what happened in that process. They eliminated that wood. So now kids are going from the pillow to the brick. Okay? And that's just utter failure. Okay? You going from something that's very, very soft to something that's very, very hard with nothing in between. The wood represents fatherhood. The wood represents, strong males. The wood represents that alpha male. They have eradicated that out of the school systems. Okay? And they teaching children how, they not teaching children that process. That's why a lot of these kids are graduating high schools and going out here in life and having all these mental and physical breakdowns, because it's like life hit them. And I used to tell a lot of kids that used to go down that wrong path, man. I used to tell them, I used to, give a little humor. I'm saying, look, man, I can't wait to see that movie. They're like, what movie you talking about, Big O? I said, when you meet reality. I can't wait to meet that movie. So some of them will take heed of what I'm saying. They want to sit down and I explain to them about the process, but you gotta understand, you gotta understand education is playing a part. And see, by eradicating the strong alpha male presence out of education, that's smoothing out the process from them going from school to prison. That's where you got a lot of that, education in the prison pipeline. That got a lot to do with it. I understand, when they try to put kids in, slow learning, like try to give them diagnose them with ADD and stuff like that, putting them in special class. I know that has a large part to do with it too. But the other one is eradicating the alpha male presence out of school systems. Again, this is the Olosopher giving you some more Olosophy. Cyclops, let's awaken the world.